Yeah. This is Now Tell Us, and I'm your host, Anthony Moirode. At Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject that they are passionate on. And always we have great guests. And today we're going to live our lives on fire because we have a guest who is on fire. Now, her name is Lynette Mitchell-Blackwell. She's a five-time best-selling author, and she has published nine best-selling authors. Now that's living life on fire. So we're gonna dive into our episode today. So I'm gonna invite you to please share this episode with all your friends. If you have a question, ask. We'll try to answer it to the best of our ability because we are on fire. And if you have a question, ask. If you have a comment to make, any other comment, we love feedback, so we'll appreciate your comment. And now, because I don't want to take much more time, I'm looking forward to meet this wonderful guest. So, why don't you join me as we go together to meet her? Here we go. Hi, Lynita.
Hey Anthony, how you doing today?
I'm doing good because I'm on fire.
Yes,
Having
you
you
are.
here, I just need to be on fire. Yeah, it's such an honor to have you here. Welcome to Now Tell Us.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure, truly.
How are you doing?
Things are good. I'm very grateful that the hurricane that is headed to the state right south of us is just sending rain. And my heart goes out and my prayers as well to those people who are weathering the storm.
Where exactly are you located?
So I am in Austell, Georgia, which is about 15 minutes west of Atlanta.
Hmm.
And the hurricane that I referenced is actually headed toward Tampa, Florida, not too far from Mickey Mouse Land, Disney World.
Mm, okay, and we wish you peace and safety
Thank you.
and all the best that can come with it. So, and we pray for those people who could be going through some challenges right now in the hurricane.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah. And now it's good that you bring this up because in life we have the good times and the bad times, and we go through some hurricanes, we go through some rain, and it's good to know how to continue living on fire despite everything.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, it is. And we do that by continuing to renew our gratitude well. There is always something to be grateful for, even when we're going through some of the toughest times in our lives.
Yeah, yeah, we can never miss that because when the worst happens, you can always pick something from it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Anthony. Yes.
Before we even go deeper into that, I just introduced you briefly. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. So I am Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell. I am an attorney as well as the intuitive business coach, and I teach very successful, high performing people how to live a life full of peace, joy, and fulfillment. And Anthony, I got into this work because I have had the most wonderful life. I was raised by loving parents, have a great support system as far as other family members and friends. And we were all taught to go for our dreams, to work hard, to achieve. And that served me well because I did well in school. I got a scholarship to college, got a great job out of college, have multiple degrees, um, excuse me, multiple businesses. But then it came to a place where it didn't serve me because I became addicted to always hearing, oh, you're just so wonderful. Oh, we just love having you. And it was not until my daughter found me passed out in the middle of the floor from exhaustion, that I realized that I was going to have to find another way to define life success, because up to that point, I did so by checking off boxes literally off of someone else's list. What
Mm-hmm.
someone else said was success: money, clothes, cars, homes, accolades, accomplishments, recognitions, degrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I never, up until that point, realized that had not taken the time to create a list that was mine. And so I was trying to live a perfect life, perfect being someone else's standard, instead of living an excellent one, which is my standard.
Mm-hmm.
And so that moment taught me that if I didn't start differentiating between the two, that I was not going to be around to see my daughter, who at that time was 6, graduate from high school. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to be around to enjoy the rest of my life. And that was totally unacceptable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through a process of learning how to live this life full of peace, joy, and fulfillment. I started working with a performance coach, and she challenged me to seriously scale down my life. I started working with a wellness coach, and I incorporated into my prayer life also breathing techniques and yoga and stretching and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And as people saw the changes that were in me, and most of them were positive, they started asking, "What are you doing?" And so the more I shared, I realized that this was something that more people needed to know about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not telling you to throw your life away. We all like nice things. We all like success, right? We all want and deserve to be told we're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
What I am saying is it can't be the measure of who you are, what you are, and how you serve in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, you become the person who is tethered and tied to what someone else says. And no matter how old you get and how great you get, you never get to the place where you are truly free, because you're tethered to someone else's ideas of what success and happiness and joy are.
Wow. Yeah. Not going with someone's idea of what success is all about.
Hmm.
Now, the way I had it, and I believe all the listeners and the viewers had it, was that, oh, you're up there, you're enjoying the success that you have, and then you decide, okay, let's calm down. But then today we're dealing with your book. Yeah, that's the title of your book is what gave us the inspiration to come on, talking about live a life on fire. How, bring us to balance, please. I,
Absolutely. So, and I'm so glad that you say that, because some people really do think that I'm saying you have to junk your old life, you have to throw things away. Well, first of all, that's impractical,
mm-hmm,
particularly if you have a family and if your children are small or you're married, right?
mm-hmm,
You can't throw your kids away. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. And you want to maintain the relationship with your life partner.
yeah.
So the life that you have, it is not bad. The life that you had created the person that you are today. And I believe that you're wonderful, right?
Mhm,
What I'm saying is that if you want it to be even better, and you want it to be something that when your children look at it, they say, "This is something I'd like for myself,"
mm-hmm,
then you have to change what you're saying is the most important thing.
mm-hmm,
Because for most of us, we would like to believe that we're saying, no, family is first, God is first, my health is first. But are you truly living that? When you get up in the morning, are you taking time to center yourself, to go into a place of gratitude and thanksgiving for even being able to wake up that morning? Or are you immediately grabbing your phone, seeing what you missed?
mm-hmm,
When your feet hit the floor, are you trying to manage the household? I can honestly say that the second part, that was me. And then where I had pieces, then I would say, "Oh goodness, I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you." But then I go straight back into stress, straight
mm-hmm,
back into consternation. And there was nothing well about that.
mm-hmm,
And my health began to fail. I
Mm,
developed stage 4 endometriosis, and I had to have a series of surgeries that left me in a place that I had no choice but to reflect and be quiet so that I could heal.
mhm,
And there are more people than they would probably admit who go through this same thing. Whereas mine was endometriosis, someone else might be high blood pressure or diabetes or stroke or something else. And then there are some people, they don't wear it physically, they wear it emotionally.
mhm,
So when we're talking about living a life on fire, we're talking about shredding and getting rid of the things that stress us, the things that are not in alignment and harmony with our life purpose,
mhm,
and really focusing and honing in. And it's a challenge because, for the most part, most of us know what is good and what is bad. And by that, I mean the things that are positive, that they help to edify and raise and lift our families, our communities, our businesses, right?
mhm,
But Anthony, it's difficult when we say, yes, that is positive. However, it's not necessarily consistent with my life purpose.
mm,
In working with my performance coach, Rowena Silvera Beck, she had me list all the things that I was involved in. And it
mhm,
was 7 pages long, single space.
yeah,
And she told me I had to get it down to two.
mhm,
So that meant that a lot of the great things that I was involved in, some of them had to go.
mm,
Like our media company, Bold Favor Media Group. We were publishing 5 magazines covering red carpet events, and we had writers literally all over the world. Well, what that was one of the things that had to go.
mhm,
And then I had to stop publishing other people. I published myself, and I now coach other people on how to set up their publishing companies so that they can do their own publishing houses. But
mhm.
I no longer do that because it was important for me to focus on my purpose, which is to help people to find this level of peace, joy, and fulfillment.
And that's beautiful. So, yeah, to you who's listening, living life on fire is not saying yes to everything. Yes, 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 yes. Living life on fire is knowing how to say no and focusing on that one thing. Yeah, and that reminds me of the experiments that we used to do is focusing the sun rays in order to burn something, using a lens in order to burn something. So you don't spread the far and wide, you focus on one thing, and that's how you're gonna light the fire.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because if you're all over the place, then the fire is too, and then nothing is going to grow because it's all torn up. It's all burned down.
Mm. Looking at your book, inside your book, I see that you've divided it into four parts. So maybe some of them you've mentioned, but maybe you could tell us why, and why the four parts and which.
Absolutely. So my writing process is very intuitive.
Mm-hmm,
I go on long walks and drives, and I let spirit just talk to me. And I've been talking to my recording device,
mm-hmm,
and I print everything out, and then I lay every chapter on the floor, and then through guidance, I then divide them and combine them how they fit together in the puzzle.
mm-hmm,
And then I was given these four parts that then feed into the one. So it's breathe, take a moment and pause and really appreciate this moment right here, right now.
mm-hmm,
Most of us don't even do that. We're always thinking about what comes next. And there's everything right with planning and strategizing and being excited about tomorrow.
mm-hmm,
But tomorrow doesn't come unless right now is taken care of. And
mm-hmm,
so we have to get to a place where we really appreciate the now. And then there's silence. Every year, and actually starting tomorrow, I go through a program with the Art of Living called The Art of Silence.
mm-hmm,
And I give myself 4 days of no talking, no playing on the phone, no communications verbally, so that I can, first of all, give the communication center of my brain a chance to rest. because with it being a practicing attorney, a speaker, a writer, and also a coach, I am constantly communicating with people.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are as well. Well, that part of you needs to rest, it needs to rejuvenate.
Yeah.
So, silence. Then there is going into meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between meditation and prayer is that meditation is actually listening to God, hearing what God has to say, whereas praying is talking to Him.
Mm.
And you have to have both. And my grandmother, she used to say, you have two ears and one mouth. So you need to do twice as much listening as you do talking.
Mm.
And so I give myself a chance to hear what God has to say about my life,
Mm-hmm.
what's coming up next, how I can correct and be better and treat people better and treat myself better as well. And then there's flow. And flow is taking all of these components and living a life that is truly joyful and understanding that the difference between joy and happiness is that joy is an internal job,
Mm-hmm.
whereas happiness is external. You're happy if the sun is out. You're
Mm.
sad if it's raining. That means that the weather is dictating that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas joy, this is, I am grateful to even have the opportunity to appreciate the change in the weather.
Mm.
And it's not comparison about whether somebody else can or not. This is about you and what you appreciate.
Yeah.
And that feeling allows you to then live in awe. And awe brings the people, the opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
the the experiences into your life so that you can live the life that you have said will allow you to live according to your purpose and to be of service to all. So not just yourself, but to humankind.
Mm. Wow. And thank you for that perspective.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's good to know that joy, as they say, joy is an inside job. And then happiness is, as you describe it there. Now, you also talk of 5 ways to live beyond happy. What's this? And maybe.
Yes, so that is the Live Life on Fire blueprint.
Okay.
And I really love this because it forces people to kind of sit down and to be centered into exactly what comes next. So the first thing is you have to focus on the person that's in front of you
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily the petty that sometimes they bring with them. And by that, I mean, people are doing the best they can with what they have in that moment right then.
Mm-hmm.
And their behavior has nothing to do with you, even if they are responding to something you've said or done.
Mm-hmm.
And that is hard for us to really embrace because we believe that the person in front of us is responding and behaving according to what we have put out to them.
Mm-hmm.
It does not take into consideration whether they're having a good or bad day. They could have had the worst news possible, like a death of a spouse or a child or a parent. And then we expect them to operate at optimum flow.
Mm-hmm.
That is just not realistic. And then we take that into us personally. We can't. We got to push that back and love them as they are and still perform at our best and move on. So we get the lesson and the blessing and leave the mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is we have to leave it all on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done everything that you can. You've evaluated the entire situation objectively, and then you move on. That's hard for a lot of us as well because people are constantly bringing things up, and they can be good things and they can be bad things. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that once the thing is over, it's neutralized, and we have to move forward, and we can't get caught up in it. I know people who say things like the best years of my life were in high school, college. You're 50. Are you kidding me? You saying in the last 30 years you've not had anything wonderful to happen? That is devastating, Anthony, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you have to unstretch yourself thin. So that process I was talking about of listing all the things you're involved in,
Mm,
removing those things that are no longer consistent with your purpose and your passion. And sometimes understanding that might take a while, because I'm not saying once you realize it, you just throw it up in the air and walk away.
mm,
That would not be fair to you or to the person who has to pick it up and run.
mm,
There is a process to this, and honoring that process honors you as well. The
mhm.
golden rule truly does apply here. Treat others as you want to be treated,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you want to live a model life. You want to live a life so that when people see you, that they come and ask, "What you doing, Anthony? You look so good. Your
Mhm.
skin's just glowing. You got that great smile going. What are you doing?" But understanding that the reason that you're living that way is not for that.
Mhm.
You're living this way for you. And to realize it's not selfish.
Mm,
You can take care of so many others when you're strong. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
yeah.
And then you take that information and you share it with the world, but only if asked. Like
Only.
you did. Yeah, yeah. Like you did bringing me on your show today.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Now, going a bit back, and it's good. We admire your way, the way that you were brought up. You were born into that dream family, and you've lived that dream life of owning businesses and living, climbing the corporate ladder. And I'm kind of thinking, because each and every one of us have challenges and problems that we find along the way, or they come to us.
Yeah,
Apart from that time when you found yourself up there, but then realize that you're not enjoying the life. Apart from that, what other challenge or problem could you have come across that was so tough, but then you got through it, that you could be willing to share with us here for inspiration?
absolutely. So, one of the things that I tell people about being a business owner, Anthony, is
Mm-hmm.
the challenge of cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we look at our bank account and our money at a frozen period of time, and then we like to extrapolate that over the year. And one of the things that is not taught, but you're going to learn, is that every business has cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you're doing very well, and sometimes there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
And so that is the reason that people tell you, and I'm people, that you need to have multiple streams of income. It's
Mm-hmm.
not to stress you out, but to create a more joyful, peaceful experience. So
Mm-hmm.
when one business is going through its valley period, the other business will hopefully be going through a peak period,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that at all times your cash flow is as consistent as possible. Now, is that always the case? No. Particularly when you're working in a business, when you have vertical or horizontal alignment, so that one thing that happens affects the entire industry, no matter where you are, then that's going to be something. And so it is important that you tap into all of your skills, gifts, and talents. So you might have your job, the 9 to 5, but you also want to have your business that is not necessarily tied to that job in that industry. Shay Brown, a incredible business coach, calls it dualpreneurship. So you have two trains running at the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's one thing that I would say has been a challenge. And so that's what I do. I have my law firm. I've had it for almost 17 years now. And
Mm.
then I have my coaching, which has the speaking, my books, and my
Everything else.
everything. Thank you. Everything. That's right.
Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, as I mentioned before, you've written many books, and what you just shared, I think that could be found in another book that you've written, Empire Builder.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I talk about how that came to be, that it was a combination of working with people and being kind and sharing my opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I had a short window of time where magic was happening. I mean, truly blessings just flowing.
Mm-hmm.
We found I went to India for a amazing women's conference with the Art of Living.
Okay.
And while I was there, I did not like the way that people of color were being depicted in the mainstream. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they really thought that most of us here in the United States had gold teeth and chains. And I'm just like, no. And so that was how Bold Favor magazine was born.
Mm-hmm.
And it was truly my family and my friends coming together and believing in the vision of, yes, we can put forth very positive, motivating, inspiring stories, and people are interested in that.
Mm.
Well, in doing that, I had the opportunity to do a TV program. It was Leading Through Living, and I did that with two wonderful friends, prophetess CB Dallier and businesswoman Sanji Willingham.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened because it was the right time and the right flow for us to do something that people were looking for.
Mm.
They were tired of the negative things they were seeing in media. And then right after that, I was offered the largest speaking engagement dollar wise that I had had in my career. And it was corporate. It had nothing to do with those two things, but they liked the idea of the positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And those three things happened within 6 months of each other.
Wow.
And so I shared that in Empire Builder, just saying that I saw something I didn't like. I took action. I had no experience doing a magazine. As a matter of fact, if you look up Bold Favor right now and look at the first issue, the formatting is just all janky because I did it myself in Word. And you
Okay.
compare it to the last issue we did, which is all beautiful because we had this graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to honor the journey of starting with nothing but a dream and knowing that this is something you're supposed to do, and ending at the top where people are still saying this was good stuff, but leaving when you know that you have served your purpose.
Hmm. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, for those of you who may have joined us as we are moving on during the show, now we are with Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell, and we are talking about living life on fire. Now, you might have missed something in the beginning, so I urge you to please repeat this episode from the beginning so that you can get every part of it. And we are almost coming to the end of the show. But before we go, would like to know, because people who listen sometimes want to follow up with people. Maybe they want some coaching, maybe they want speaking engagement for you or somewhere else, anything. How can they, what kind of people would you like work with, and how can they reach you?
Absolutely. So the best way to reach me is my website. It is LynitaMitchellBlackwell.com.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you can join my email list. We can connect via social, and you can send me that request saying, I'm ready. Let's start working together. Um, and the type of people that I'm looking for are people who realize there is something beyond happy and they are ready to start the journey to get to joy.
Mm. Be unhappy, start the journey to get to joy. That's good. And also at this point, I will ask you to share some words that we should always remember. You shared quite many, but then this special part, share with us some words that we should always remember. Which are they?
Absolutely. Joy is an inside job. If we want to get there, we have to have something other than happiness. Happiness is someone else controlling who you are, what you are, how you serve. Joy is you reclaiming your power and you deciding those things for yourself.
Hmm. Wow, I have nothing to add to that. You said it all. You said it all.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have had you here, Linita, as we are coming to the end of the show. Thank you very, very much for coming.
You're so very welcome. Thank you for having me, Anthony.
Yes, and I will also take this opportunity to thank all the people who've been watching and or listening, and those who also get to watch or listen to this after we are through. Thank you very much. Claire Ashmore, we see you. This is such an inspiring message. Thank you. We thank you, Claire, for tuning in. Yes, and all the people who have not commented, we also thank you for taking your time and watching. And as we come to the end of this show, this has been Now Tell Us. I've been your host, Anthony Murore, together with our guest, wonderful, wonderful guest today, Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell. We are reminding you to please, please, please live your life on fire. That's it for today. Bye for now.